Welcome to the Design Rodeo podcast. This is the space where we explore all things design, business, education, and the ever-changing dynamics of our industry. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an up-and-coming designer, or just curious about the creative field, this podcast has something for you. With over 15 years of experience as a designer, leader, and educator, I'm here to share insights, spark meaningful conversations, and help you thrive in your design journey. If you're looking to expand your skill set and build your career, check out our educational courses and resources at designrodeo.com. My name is Lisa Garrell. Let's dive in. Hey there, design enthusiasts. Welcome to the Design Rodeo, your go-to podcast for all things design, education, and professional growth. I'm your host, Lisa Garrell, and this is where we explore the exciting world of design while providing educational tools, coaching, and consulting insights for both individuals and businesses. For those who don't know me, I bring 15 years of design experience to the table, including a decade as a people manager. These days, I split my time between coaching, mentoring, and teaching as an adjunct faculty member at various institutions, focusing on UX, UI, research, and business principles. Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating topic. What kinds of people are naturally drawn to becoming designers, and what makes them tick? Before we explore that, I would really like to clear up a common misconception about what designers actually do. You see, many people think designers are just focused on making things look pretty. The reality is much more profound. At its core, design is about solving human problems and making lives easier. This brings us to our first essential designer trait, empathy. Designers need to excel at putting themselves in other people's shoes to truly understand the challenges they face. Let me elaborate on why empathy is such a crucial trait for designers. When we talk about empathy in design, we're not just talking about being nice or understanding. It's about developing a deep, almost intuitive sense of users' needs, frustrations, and motivations. Designers need to understand not just what users say they want, but why they want it and how they'll actually use it. This means being able to do things like recognize unstated needs that users might not even be aware of themselves. This is something that can be teased out through tools like observational research. You need to understand the emotional and psychological aspects of how people interact with products and services. You need to be able to consider diverse perspectives as well, including users with different abilities, backgrounds, and contexts. And the last one, which is really important, is to put aside personal preferences and biases to truly focus on user needs. We're all different as people, and it's really important to remember that as you conduct research and understand why people are doing the things they're doing and making the decisions they're making. For example, when designing a healthcare app, empathy helps us understand not just the functional needs of patients, but also their emotional state when using the app. They might be stressed, worried, or not feeling well, and this deeper understanding leads to more thoughtful and effective design solutions. Another really crucial characteristic is curiosity. Great designers are like detectives. They're always willing to pull on loose threads and dig through mountains of information. We kind of need to be information and data hoarders. We often use what's called the 5 whys method, which involves asking the question why 5 times to get to the root of a problem. For example, if someone says they need a new feature in an app, instead of jumping straight to solutions, we ask, why? Repeatedly until we understand the fundamental issue we're trying to solve. Persistence is another key trait that goes hand in hand with curiosity. There's a concept in design or in decision making, satisficing versus maximizing. Satisficers accept quote unquote good enough solutions, while maximizers keep searching for the best possible outcome. In design, we actually need to balance these approaches. We want to create the best solutions possible within business constraints and timelines. If we simply continue maximizing, we are never going to complete the project or product for the users and help them make their lives easier. Let's dive deeper into this dynamic between satisficing and maximizing in the design world. In business, there's often pressure to satisfy, so implement solutions that are good enough to meet immediate needs and get to market quickly. This approach can be valuable when time to market is crucial or when working with limited resources. However, designers as people, we're a bit of perfectionists, so we often lean towards maximizing. We're trained to iterate, refine, and perfect solutions. We see the potential for improvement and want to create the absolute best user experience possible. This natural tension between satisficing and maximizing can actually be productive when it's managed well. The key here is finding the sweet spot. Sometimes launching a well-researched but simpler solution, aka satisficing, allows us to gather real-world feedback that informs future improvements. Other times, investing more time up front to maximize the solution prevents costly redesigns and user frustration down the line. The best designers know how to strategically choose between these approaches based on project context, business goals, and user needs. So they can articulate when it's appropriate to satisfy, maybe as an example, for an MVP or minimum viable product launch, versus when to maximize, perhaps for core features that directly impact user trust or safety. One more trait that we're going to talk about is resilience. This is something that is absolutely crucial in this field. Designers often face an uphill battle against, frankly, various misconceptions. One common myth is that design and research will slow down the software development lifecycle, and this really couldn't be further from the truth. Proper research and design due diligence actually speed up the process by ensuring we're solving the right problems from the start, preventing costly mistakes and revisions down the line. So I can break down why proper UX research and design actually accelerate development. First is it prevents the costly build, test, rebuild cycle. So when teams skip proper user research and jump straight into development, they often build features based on assumptions that turn out to be wrong. This leads to extensive rework, which takes far more time than doing the research upfront would have taken. Next, clear design requirements and prototypes give developers a precise roadmap to work from. Instead of building features based on vague specifications and having to make numerous adjustments, developers can actually work from thoroughly tested designs, and it's significantly cheaper to break and test designs than it is to break and test implemented coded solutions. This also reduces back and forth communications and prevents things like misunderstandings that may lead to development delays, which lead to more cost. Third, early user testing through prototypes catches major issues when they're cheapest to fix. Like I said before, it's much faster and more cost-effective to modify a prototype than to refactor code after development. Studies show that fixing an issue in development can cost up to 10 times more than fixing it in design, and then fixing it post-release can cost up to 100 times more. Finally, proper UX research helps prioritize features based on actual user needs. This means development teams spend their time building what users actually want rather than features that might end up unused or need to be completely redesigned later. Another misconception we constantly battle is that design is just about making things pretty. In reality, design is a scientific field where visual elements are just the tip of the iceberg. We use data, research, and systematic approaches to help solve complex problems. The aesthetic aspects only come into play after we've done the heavy lifting of understanding and solving the core issues. The scientific nature of design is evident in our methodologies and processes that we use. So we employ rigorous research methods like quantitative analysis of user behavior through analytics and A/B testing, systematic user research using controlled experiments and structured interviews, statistical analysis of survey data and user feedback, heuristic evaluations based on established psychological principles, and cognitive load measurement and optimization. We also use some scientific frameworks to validate our design decisions. This includes conducting things like hypothesis testing, where we form theories about user behavior and design solutions, then methodically test these hypotheses through prototypes and user testing. The results are measured against specific metrics and KPIs to ensure our solutions actually solve the identified problems. Additionally, designers frequently draw from various scientific disciplines. One major field that we draw from is psychology, so understanding human behavior and cognitive processes. Sociology is another one, analyzing how people interact with products in different social contexts. Ergonomics is a big one if you have any work that you're doing that involves physical designs, so applying physical and cognitive research to design. Information theory, structuring and organizing complex data, and behavioral economics, understanding decision-making patterns. One challenge designers may face in this realm is actually the lack of C-suite representation, so chief-level executives. Without executive-level advocacy, design decisions can sometimes take a backseat to other business priorities. This is why it's so important for designers to develop strong communication and business skills alongside their design expertise. Successful designers are also passionate about problem solving and connecting dots. In general, they're the kind of people who can see a complex, intimidating problem and think, challenge accepted. So they approach each problem or each project like a detective, gathering clues and piecing together solutions. Creativity is important, but perhaps not in the way you might traditionally think. While some designers do focus on visual aspects, others work on architecture, structure, and flow. Personally, that's where I tend to lean into. The creativity we're talking about here is more about innovative problem solving than artistic ability. Some of the most successful designers I know couldn't draw to save their lives, including myself, but they're brilliant at finding creative solutions to complex problems. One of the most beautiful things about design is that it really is a multidisciplinary field. So whether you've studied psychology, business, art, or engineering, all knowledge and experience that you've gathered can be valuable in design. It's this diversity of perspectives that makes design such a rich and dynamic field. So to wrap things up, who was drawn to become a designer? It's people who are empathetic, curious, and resilient. People who love solving problems and aren't afraid to challenge the status quo. People who see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. That's all for today's episode of Design Rodeo. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, keep designing, keep questioning, and keep making the world a better place. This is Lisa Garrell, signing off.